ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
To watch him come in and out of reality as his disease progressed was torture. It was really, really painful for not only myself, but others who knew him over the years. He went from this gentle giant to being this man that was unpredictable and to be feared and would talk about stuff that would blow your mind. I remember one night getting off the phone with him and just curling up in a ball crying because after a 45-minute conversation, he made no sense.
Well, this is about where I first saw him, and he was standing about over there. It was sort of a Neanderthal looking, if I could describe it like that. Powerful, about 6 foot, because I later looked at that rock behind it. After the primate went down back through there, I came down here, went behind there, and I got this sample.
Where is it?
It's in there. Yes, it is. But this is only a tiny snippet. I've got the other stuff safe and sound. The test samples I sent out. But I must have dropped this. I sent samples off to various biologists, but none of them reported anything other than human hair.
Some of these people become actually pretty obsessive. They want a recurrence of the experience. They're actively hunting for and seeking out another sighting. And they will start to disregard their careers, their marriages, their children, their hobbies. Everything will get shunted to the side in pursuit of the second sighting, of another time when they can see this mythical creature before them. Some of these people, unfortunately, their lives can spiral out of control.
The guys that catch Bigfoot gold fever become lost to it. I think obsession has a kind of a pathological edge to it, where you lose contact with the rest of life and you lose your ability to function as an ordinary human being in society, or at least it becomes impaired. These people, by the way, the Bigfoot obsessives, are all male in my experience. They go over the edge and it becomes the central concern of their lives. And they make a connection to themselves, and it becomes themselves, and they lose their perspective of the difference between themselves and Bigfoot, and they identify with them so closely that they simply have to find it.
Through the years, you know, his focus just completely changed from all the things in normal life with his business, with his family, with society. All that changed. And it's now completely just this singular focus. You know, he lives down at the river in the most meager way you can imagine. And he's content with that. And he believes really anything more is just a luxury that it's not necessary. Then he can dedicate all of his time and put all of his energy into tramping through the woods, trying to vindicate himself. I think he really wants to just connect the dots, and they're not connected right now.
Yeah, my parents met in AA. I think as far as I know, I think they just were in the same club, the same meetings together. So an AA club is really just a bar where everyone's just drinking coffee and smoking, but it functions just like a bar until there's a meeting. The 12 o'clock meeting is about to start, and then, half the people go upstairs, do their meeting, come back down, belly up to the bar, get more coffee, and then they mingle. It operates just like a bar, so they met in that environment.
There she is. Hey, madam, last day of vacation, did you have a goodly time? Huh? What's that? Is that hang loose thing? I thought it meant something else. Oh, that's just my mind
These
working.
are our homemade drinks. Mine
Yeah.
is mango, guava, pineapple, and rum. You're going to hit the thing, the furniture.
Oh, okay. And mine's...
It's very tasty, actually.
Yeah.
And John's is rum and coke.
Hey, she's mad at me again. Look at that.
Okay, turn it off. You know what? Wait. Have this guy take a video of both of us.
Okay.
Yeah, see the lights going.
Okay, yeah.
Hello, honey. Hello. We just want to be together on the video.
She wants to be together. Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Okay.
What else? What do you want to tell us? Tell me nothing? End of the vacation.
You're going to keep your back straight, stick your butt back. 2 hands up and down as hard as you can go. Hop closer to the weight. There you go. Keep those knees back, please. 4, and extend. Hips up in the air. Boom. All the way down. Rotate high. Reach high out of the toes. Bang. For being out in the woods, and you're going to always changing angles everywhere you go. As far as the terrain is concerned, it's always changing, and you want to make sure that any position that you get yourself into and you're going to repeatedly get yourself in and out of, you want to train that. If you haven't lifted it in the past in the gym, then it's going to be even harder to do out there in the real life outside the gym doors. So deadlifts and squats, lunges, all those things are really going to improve your core, they're going to improve your flexibility, and you're going to make a lot more time out in the woods possible.
He works really hard on being fit, because if you're going to get out into this wilderness, it's physically very demanding. I've become pretty close to him, and he's a very interesting guy, and he's very dedicated to what he's doing. He's taken a little different approach than myself and my group. I've created a nonprofit group that we're called Sasquatch Saviors, and we're dedicated to discovery of the science about, and ultimately, the preservation of these primates. I've got a strong scientific curiosity, but it hasn't changed me in the way it's changed John. I've never really teamed up with him in the past, because he's just a lone wolf.
It's cold out today.
So there's beef and chicken.
All right,
There you
one
go.
of each.
Oh
Okay.
wait, yeah, beef and
Yeah,
chicken's fine.
it's not real beef anyway, it's just flavored.
We have a lot of homeless. We have 92 homeless men and women. And the men basically are the ones that come in and they have stories. They love to tell stories about everything that happens to them out in the wild. We don't know if it's true. We don't know if it's false, but they sure are convincing.
What I saw is what I saw. It's real. I looked at it. I looked in his eyes, or her eyes. I'm going to prove that that primate exists. And when I do, I know it'll be sensational. Hit all the news media, I know that. But to take it further than that, to take it to celebrity status and fame and money, and that's not what I want to do. I want to prove it exists. I'll have achieved a lifetime's ambition.
One thing about the Bigfoot gold fever people, they're not very good woodsmen. They don't know very much natural history, which is one of the biggest problems of all in the Bigfoot community. Those who go out and search Bigfoot, they don't know much natural history. So they'll hear a great gray owl or a barred owl, which are very common now. Oh, it must be Bigfoot.
That area down there is perfect for a primate, Sasquatch, to come down through here. And the there have been known sightings in different times of the year along this river.
They don't know how to forage for food in the wild. They don't know how to protect themselves from the elements very well. They're going to places that they're not really fit for physically. They get themselves in dangerous situations in terms of relief and exposure and falls. And some of them, I suppose, probably don't come out again. I don't know. I don't know of any cases of that really losing their life to it, but I can see that happening, certainly.
I was working down at the gym yesterday. I should have backed off a bit. My legs really hurt and lower back. Sarah, do you have a towel?
Yeah.
Please? Thank you. All right, thanks.
You know, at this point in my life, why? Why would I bother being in a relationship? Why would I be with another man that's going to make me feel unworthy, unattractive, not valuable enough to be worth keeping? And when I met John and was intrigued by his story, and everything that came through from him to me was genuine and good and real and honest, and it seemed like it was lower risk than maybe my past. It seemed like it would work to just have something that was non-committal and not a relationship. I feel sorry for my married girlfriends, to be honest with you. I'm so glad I'm not in that position anymore. I don't want to brag about it too much, but I mean, I have my own place. I have jobs that I love. I have friends that I love. John comes by once in a while. My life is actually pretty fucking great.
God, there is a lot of dog shit.
There is. Yeah, I got it all over my jeans. That's why I had to wash these. I think they still smell a bit. You know, I can't overstay my welcome here. And I know she prefers that I don't come around too often, once a month or so. I love this weather. Look at this. I mean, this is perfect for trekking. Gonna get up in those mountains.
He's got a few haunts or trails that you kind of know he's around frequently. He only reaches out to me and my wife when he's sick and has medical questions. So he asks my wife, the doctor, you know, oh, I have this. And so he fishes for sympathy, like classic alcoholic behavior.
You know, I always have this with me, ever since I missed the opportunity. I don't feel it, you know. I mean, we're in Sasquatch country. We're right here. But I just don't feel he's around anymore. She's around.
Sometimes I would sit with my dad and watch him late at night, and he would look up at the stars and he wouldn't say anything. So I would ask him, Dad, what are you thinking about? Or what are you looking at? He was really, really quiet at times. I think he would draw within himself to find the strength that he couldn't get from the outside world.
It's beautiful right now. I mean, look at this. But really, we're sort of just hanging here. Look up there. There it is. Sitting up there, spinning around. We're spinning around the sun. We're sort of hanging on by a thread. It's tenuous, to say the least. I knew it was wrong to come up here. I just knew it. I knew it when we set off that there was something wrong about today. And look at here, we're in this bloody shithole. It's a shithole. And Sasquatch isn't around here. And, well, I mean, I'm all right. We can sleep here. I can sleep. It's, Hello.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Smells good.
What you got here? Look at this stuff.
That's a
Hickory
special
Mountain.
treat, my friend. That's Hickory Mountain barbecue sauce, which is
Look
a
at that.
Carolina style sauce. The
Excellent.
name comes from my grandfather's hunting club in North Carolina. And it's an old family recipe that I basically stole from my cousin.
Well, I go hunting every year over in eastern Washington, up above, off Little Natchez, and there's this one draw that I've been hunting probably 6-7 years. Sometimes there's elk in there, sometimes there's not. And this one year I'm up there, and there's not an elk anywhere. You know, no sign, nothing like that. Haven't been in there all year long. And it's a migratory path, so I know that they're in there all the time. So I set up my stand and I'm looking, probably 500-600 yards away. I thought it was a black bear, but it wasn't on all fours. It was standing. So I thought, you know, he's scratching a tree or something. But it's getting late in the season for me marking its territory. So I'm looking, and it stepped out, and I wouldn't shoot him because I don't want to kill something that majestic. But if I'd had a camera, we'd have had proof.
Did you get a chance to smell? Did any of you smell? Were you close enough to smell this thing?
I was too far, but I know that there was lingering scent when we got down there.
Yeah.
There was like, you know, kind of rancid. I don't know if you've ever been to a pig farm.
To be quite honest, I don't think they've seen a Sasquatch or a primate. I don't. I think they're made up. I think it's bullshit, to be honest with you.
Here's where I had my sighting. About 60 miles to the east of there is where Craig had his sighting.
When you see what we seen, you know what you saw.
These lights end up kind of showing a little red because they're the infrared. And so when something walks by it, day or night, it'll take a picture.
If it's in the right location, shouldn't it be picking up Sasquatch? I mean, you've been doing this, what, 3 years? And how many cameras have you had out there?
He's got what I call the tall man syndrome. Now, they always talk about the short man syndrome, where there's the tall man syndrome, where they think they're better than everybody.
And I believe that you've caught the cougar on them, and I don't dispute that. I don't dispute what you're saying at all. I'm just saying those things have to be in the right location.
So your location is going to be the right spot, is what you're saying. We're articulate, intelligent, educated people, even if we are way up here in the Northwest.
That is kind of interesting that he's from England. He's down out here looking for Sasquatch. So, I mean,
Telling
he's a
us,
believer.
you know, I grew up here. This is where I'm from. You know, my whole family roots are from here in Washington. And some guy coming from across the pond, what do they call them over there, pikers?
I am intrigued by people. I like experiencing different people, and being a part of something that is different and out of my realm is what keeps life exciting. I'm game for anything all the time.
But the thing that's attractive about you is that you have the ability to talk, and you have a confidence, and you have a self-worth that comes from inside you that can be seen.
You know, she's strong-willed, opinionated, got her own life. I think she likes to be by herself, and then when she wants the company of a man or me or even Ben, then she'll ask for that company. I'm not going to hold that against her, you know.
And we love you girls.
You love us.
I love girls. I love girls like nothing else. I love girls. They're like a hunger.
Girls for you are like
No, I hunger for
cigarettes
girls.
or alcohol. Like there's
No,
an addiction, and it's
yeah,
not even
yes,
sexual addiction.
not even that. It's,
You
it's
just
way beyond that.
love.
It's way beyond
Yeah,
that.
you love.
It's a craving.
I know.
Totally
You
craving.
love women.
I totally crave women.
You know, he loves ladies, and we've always grown up without very much of a filter. But then it's like, Dad, okay, come on. You don't need to tell us what you think about that girl's hair or the shape of her body. You don't need to tell me that. I'm your daughter.
It's purely coincidence that most of my staff are attractive females. I mean, I don't really know how it worked out like that, but it did.
If he's just in your face 24/7, you want to wring his little fucking neck. But yeah, he's a really nice guy though on top of it. So it kind of he has that balance.
You can tell when you're around some of these women that they, they might like me and they like me as a friend and for conversation, but when it comes down to a real relationship, I think that, it's passed me by. Women would look at me differently when I was a young man. Sometimes I'll come into my car, there'll be a little note on my car of somebody that's, an admirer somehow, and, those things don't really quite happen anymore. The truth of the matter is, they look at me as an old man. And I guess I'm still looking for those women that are really turned on by the old guy, but I haven't found much of that. I used to have a big house. I used to have more money than I have now. Of course, getting divorced took care of all that. I don't own a home. I rent this pad from my friends, but I have everything that I need here. I could pick up and move in one day. I could be gone. And there's something gratifying about that.
There's your cyclist, Ben. There's your guy following us.
What'd I tell you? I told you somebody's following us.
Son of a bitches.
I think this is prime location. Hey, don't go too far. Wait a minute. Let me see one of them cameras.
I don't think the primate's going to climb down that bank, and you know what? It's too close to this road.
Primates like elk, they can go anywhere they want.
This road is well used. Look at it, it's well used.
Well used, we've been on it for 2.5 hours. Have you seen one car, one person?
Well, it's just the time of day. We're here. It's not the right, this isn't right. What are you doing standing up there? I mean, we already discussed all this. We talked about it. And here they are. I could tell straight away they didn't want to hike. They want to quickly put a camera up, get back in the car, and go back and have a beer.
I just thought that was a prime location there. It's got everything. It's got food, water, cover on both sides. The guy has no respect. He's been out of touch with society. He lives under bridges, lives, who knows where he bathes, probably in that puddle behind us.
What do you think of John Green?
Hard worker. John's a real hard worker. Good personality, good human being. He works harder than these kids we get these days. He's old school ethics. Starts the task, finishes the task. If John was available, I'd work him 5 days a week, full time.
I don't mind. I mean, it's a means to an end, isn't it? I mean, I'd rather be tracking the primate, but I need money to live on.
Good heart to him, good mindset for an Englishman.
Well, I'd started a clothing company in England in the early 1970s. And with that success, I came out to Los Angeles. The clothing business in Los Angeles was about licensing T-shirts. It was sort of pop art, I started with Leave It to Beaver, Mr. Ed, I Love Lucy. I went on to Gumby and Pokey, and we were shipping out about $1 million a week in T-shirts, which are an awful lot of T-shirts. The business was consuming me. I worked weekends, and I mentally collapsed. So the company was sold, and the guy that took it on, he offered me a great job, but he was a snake, and I'd had enough.
They've got lithium batteries that are designed to keep this thing functional for up to a year. So first and foremost,
press the button.
Yes. So if the batteries are functional properly, you're going to get a green light. John is going to be the one to take the cameras out. They're going to be delivered deep into the forest, into the mountains around here, to these designated hotspots that we've identified. Left all winter long, and then in the spring, we're going to go back and retrieve them all. I am unable to participate due to my surgeries for the past few years. I'm probably a year away from being able to be normal again.
I'll write notes and I'll take pictures. And you just make sure that Sarah's up on all this too.
Oh, I'm hopeful that
if she's up on this, then we'll get both sides of the equation.
Between the two of you guys,
we'll get it done. I don't know if that dog won't scare off the primate. The primate will smell it. And I got to deal with the dog as well as everything else. I mean, I thought you were just here to help carry everything.
I am here to help, but I don't have anywhere to put my dog, and I'll take care of her.
All right.
Okay, now remember, we have to be able to find the cameras in the spring.
We'll put them. Yeah.
Okay.
Got the tape. We'll get it all. 5 days now, okay? I'll see you in 5 days.
I'll be
back
here. Yes, sir.
All right. Is I want to set the camera somewhere in that tree line over there so we can capture this whole open space all the way to the lower part here. You know what, I think we need to stay close to this tree. This tree, first off, is easy to get on for me. I know it may look a little clumsy, but see that?
Yeah.
Now that's all the way down. All the way down that slide area. So it's tape. You'll be able to see that from the trail. We've got one camera set, and I'm delighted. And then I need to set camp because I don't want to be doing that in the dark. So how's that dog of yours doing? Huh?
She's holding up. She's a little cold.
Well, I'm impressed.
She looks cold. That's the only thing I'm worried about is her feet.
I wouldn't worry about that. Animals aren't like human beings. Sarah, what are you doing?
I'm trying to get better gloves on because I'm freezing.
You know how many years I've had this old tank?
How many?
Oh, I don't know. I've lost track. You should have brought some.
This is all we're eating is Cliff Bars?
Yeah, there's a Cliff Bar. I think I may have put another packet in there. How hungry are you?
I'm pretty hungry.
I usually have one packet. Tell me that's the best you've had camping.
Mm.
It's good, isn't it?
Sweet.
See, I told you.
It's cold, but sweet.
Yeah, it's all right. The warm. Once it gets inside. Here you go. You have that. Don't give any to the dog. I just got to make a little trip here. All right. I'll be back in a few minutes. Wait a minute. Look, we've got 4 more days up here. 4 more days, all right? This is the first day and you're heading back? Well, how are you going to get home?
I'll call Ben. He'll come pick me up.
Ben? Oh, yeah. Have you got any more stuff in there you should leave here with me? Have you left me all my stuff?
Yes, I didn't take any of your stuff.
All right, okay.
Good luck.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, well. That's why I'm single. I can see that. I mean, no woman in their right mind would want to live like I live. And I'm going to continue on. It's just the way it is. So I've come down about 2,000 feet. It was impossible up there for me. It was getting dangerous, it was too cold, and I just didn't think the primate would be up in those altitudes, especially this time of the year. I'm convinced it's probably closer down here to the river, to a source of water. You don't have any of that trail mix, do you?
What's that?
That trail mix. You know, you carry that trail mix stuff with you. Do you have any left over in your pockets? Yeah, I've got that set.
I really believe we're on the cusp of a monumental historic discovery. Our science is going to pay off, and we're going to once and for all prove the existence of these primates. The turbines that were placed at Snoqualmie Falls back in the early 1900s needed to be replaced finally after 100 years. Some of the fellows that worked on the falls during this construction project, they also worked out at my gym, Mount Si Sports and Fitness. I can tell you from talking to them, they had a situation where early on in the project, they were rappelling down inside of the shaft, and you're talking about a 300-foot vertical shaft in the darkness, and something was throwing rocks at them. I wouldn't be surprised in any sense to find that the Sasquatch, just like humans, are drawn to this place. It's just really awe-inspiring.
I do think now, after all these years, that I had a spiritual encounter. And I'm going to have another one. I can feel it. I can actually feel it more now. That I'm going to find the answers in another, perhaps appearance or another sign. So I'm compelled to keep going.
Well, the way you described it to me, that is, he was scrawny.
Yeah.
He was a scrawny Sasquatch, not like your classic big hulking guy.
No big hulking.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. So I did him on the scrawny, lanky side, and I kind of think I tried to make him kind of tree stumpish, because I'm thinking that's maybe what you actually saw in the woods was just a tree stump.
No, I disagree. No, this was 10, 12 years ago. No, it wasn't a tree stump at all, because I was there, and it was moving. And at one point, I think it was actually going to try and say something, because it opened its mouth, like it was going to say something, and then it took off behind one of these huge rocks, the big ones that are up there on that trail. Mm-hmm. A stump? No.
You know what you saw.
I know what I saw, yeah. And for her to say to me, you possibly saw a stump, that's why I painted this stick insect. Yeah, it was a stick insect, really, with hair on it.
You have this experience, and then, you don't know what it's about, and you want to try to prove what you saw, and you want to try to understand it, and you want to try to explain it, and you can't. There's a lot of people out there that are having experiences like us. We're going to try to do some research and see if we can find some commonality between, these countless other sightings that have been reported.
I showed my mom the picture, and she called my dad, and she said your son just took a picture of something in the water.
Yeah, but when she called me, I was busy at work, and I said, "Babe, I ain't got time. I'm trying to get done with work and come home." And she is excited, saying that he took a picture of something in the river. I told her it was just a river otter. Don't worry about it. She said, "No, it was bigger than a river otter." And I said, "Okay, I'll be home in 20 minutes. Don't worry about it." 5 minutes later, I get this picture on my phone, so I quit work and came home. I don't know what it is.
Give me a look.
I'm trying to get in touch with somebody that knows more than me. I'm just a backwoods schoolboy. But he took a clear picture of something, but I don't know. I don't want to say it is or it is not.
It's head was moving and looking at me, its arms were just massive. And the way that it squatted, as if it had known to do that so many different times to protect itself or to keep a visual on me. I've just seen something that I thought you only saw in the movies.
We kept hearing this, and I knew it wasn't an elk. I knew it wasn't a bear. I knew it wasn't a chipmunk. I knew this something was something big enough to hold a great big log and hit a tree with it. But I don't call it Sasquatch because I didn't see a Sasquatch. I didn't see a Bigfoot. What I call it is the Olympic tree knocker because I was on the Olympic Peninsula and the thing was knocking against every tree it could. This Olympic tree knocker was something that I have never encountered in a forest before.
Do you think they form communities?
I believe so.
Do you think there's a mother, a father, a child, and that sort of community?
Absolutely.
Family units.
And we've yet to come across bones of them.
No, there's never been a discovery of bones.
So they
Or
have a
carcasses
superior way of
dealing with all that.
They're dealing with that. I think they were created by God. They were one of God's creatures.
Just like all the other creatures? And
just like all the other creatures, but with purity and simplicity and living off the land.
It just seems to be a hodgepodge of different people's opinions, and I think most of it is made up. They want to be part of the conversation, so they say, oh, I've seen the primate.
Like, you could see the trees shaking. Whack! 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 And then all of a sudden we just hear something book it through the trees running around to behind us. I couldn't believe it.
Exploring and searching for answers, I think can be healing. It's just about that balance of time. And are they staying grounded in the tangible reality that is us here, this gym, these people, this community, our family?
Outside Sports and Fitness. Yes, we do indeed.
You know, he does run this business well. I think me being here definitely helps that. There's sometimes I wish he would kind of dial back and kind of come be a little bit more part of the family with the grandkids. He does do that, though. I think he tries to find a healthy balance, but he goes through seasons where he gets a little bit obsessive.
We just can barely contain our excitement over what we might find when we look at all the tapes.
Certain it's right up there, first camera. But you know, these avalanches, they just rip everything down, so it can be a little confusing. Ow, fuck. That's what I want. Just throw me those gloves, I'm sorry. Just broken my nails. I had the camera right up there. The camera and the bunting's gone. Nobody would have come up here. I mean, who would climb up here in the wilderness, find this tree, and take the camera off it? The primate saw the red bunting, came over, saw the camera strapped up there, and just reached up and got it, just like I stood up in here and put it up there. And what we need to do is we need to find the other cameras and see if they panned this area. Here's the second tree. There's the bunting. Let me get up there. The other one's, I know it's this way. I want to show you something over here. Look at this. How do you think this happened? Huh? This is a perfect example of primate activity. That stripped bark off that tree there. They rip it off. I found some hair stuck on this broken piece here. I mean, it could be anything, but why would a piece of hair be on here?
Can I see it, John?
This Well, it's hard to see, but...
Well, hold it up for me.
Well, it's not a bear.
It's soft.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a woman's hair.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that big guy.
Look at him. Which camera is this? Is this 4?
I think this is 4.
We've got the bears now.
We unfortunately still don't have.
It's crap, really,
anything
isn't
that
it?
we can take.
It's absolute crap. There's nothing we can show to anybody that proves our point.
When we analyzed the cameras that were placed really at high elevations, where there's a lot of snow, the weather's really bad, there was virtually no sign of any life. I mean, there were instances where the wind would kick up some snow, would cause a camera to trigger, but really absolutely nothing at all. And that was a bit surprising to me, you know, as opposed to the lower level cameras. I must say it was very interesting, the number of, you know, animals that we saw and the wildlife that exists right in this, you know, community, right up to the edge of civilization. The only tangible piece of evidence that we found was a piece of fur.
What's up? Hey, thanks for you want me to try and identify or? Oh, that's somebody dropped it by today. It's actually a bushy-tailed wood rat. It's a really interesting character. It differs from a Norwegian rat or a Norway rat in that, as its name implies, it has a bushy, hairy tail. Interesting. Okay, well, let's just look at it under a microscope here. You wanna look?
Well, to me looks just like...
Here, take a smell.
Interesting the way the fibers are stranded.
That's diagnostic. Let him take a sniff. What do you smell?
What is that smell? I don't know.
Equine. Horsehair.
No, he's wrong.
I can say categorically it's horsehair.
Well, I can say you're wrong.
They were starting from the standpoint that they knew what it was and they wanted to prove it, and that's not the way science works. Science works by assembling data and analyzing it and then drawing conclusions from it.
But why do you feel, John, I mean, why are you really doing this? What is it about this that, I mean, why are you so, I've been following you a long time and I still don't even fully understand.
Well, I've seen it. I've been 20 feet from it. I've smelt it. The creature. I've looked into the creature's eyes. I think there are times when the creature is tracking me and is no more than 20 or 30 feet away, just listening, could be listening to me right now.
And you can't see, you know, what you just said there, someone like your daughter thinking that that's a mentally ill person talking right there. That's someone who's...
I can see that she can... I'm not normal in the sense that normal people don't do this, but there's a lot of people that have pursuits. Let me put it this way, if I was to discover and find and photograph and document this primate, would she then think, or would others think, that I was still mentally deranged chasing this thing in the mountains? There's something behind that stump.
Kind of like a squirrel to me.
That's not a squirrel. There's a whole area around here that's all kind of brushed out.
Yeah.
I'm not making it up. You must hear that.
Yeah, I hear the squirrel.
Yeah, well, you're not listening. That's the problem. You don't climb with me. It's because you're saying you're wasting your time. There's nothing there, John. Let's go.
I don't think I said that, but...
Huh?
I don't think that I said that.
Whatever it is now, it's gone because we're talking, you know. But you can see how it came through here, where I've come, see? Through there, over there, zigzag, and behind that tree. Plain as the nose on your face.
People would say stuff like, well, we thought we knew your dad, but he's so mean. Like, what happened to him? And it was hard for me because that wasn't him. That was the illness. And somebody living with that type of chronic illness and pain, I think they lash out at people because they need and they want help, but they're not getting it, at least not getting it sufficiently enough to ease their pain and to help them feel like they're not going to succumb to their disease.
So, doctor, today on paper, is he a legal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So legal, I see.
He was the only father I ever knew.
So, do you think there's any chance in the future that you would see him again or connect with him again?
It's up to him. I'm not going to reach out.
I realize that I should be spending more time with my children, with my grandkids, with everybody connected, their relations with their cousins, all these people. But I don't. In fact, I'm not really interested in all the peripheral stuff. The only time that my father actually, I could see emotion and I could see him breaking down was when I saw him for the last time. And he was dying. He knew he was dying. And he was living. My mother had already died some years earlier. And so when my mother died, he went down. He just started folding in. He was a big, strong man. And he used to kneel by his bed every night and say his prayers. Strictly, very strict Catholic. But when I saw him for the last time, he looked at me, and he was a big man, but he'd shrunken in size, you know. And he was stooped over on his cane, and he said, "I just want to tell you, I'm not going to see you again." And of course I brushed it off and said, "Oh, you'll see me, I'll be back." He said, "No, you won't be back." And then he said, "And I'm sorry that I was not there more for you, but," he said, "but I'm so proud that you have turned out the way you have." And I was emotional. I'm a little emotional now, and I hugged him, and you know, it was we didn't hug, but I hugged him, and he said, "Well, it's goodbye then, isn't it?" And I said, I brushed it off immediately. I said, no, I'll be back. Jerry will call me. My brother will call. But he said, "No, you won't." And then he reached out his hand and he shook my hand. And that was the only time in my life that my father actually showed really strong emotion towards me, you know.
Get that out of your mouth. Give me that. What's in your mouth, little boy? You can't throw your things. No, you can't throw your toys.
You know, they got the bathrooms ready.
Ding dong. Ding dong.
Having my dad here has been a lifesaver. If I didn't have him living with me, I would be drowning in stress, I wouldn't have any time to myself. I wouldn't have any time to go to school, to even keep a clean house, to really love the boys the way they deserve. He moved into my garage because he refused to take one of the boys' bedrooms, even though I was willing to have the baby come sleep in my room or get the boys to just share rooms. He refused to let them do that. As a single mom, that is the greatest gift anyone could ever give me. Yeah. I'll always be thankful. Even if he's a little crazy. Sorry, Dad.
Particularly if he's a little crazy.
Extra crazy.
The legend of the primate in this part of the world, it's something that's never going to die. There are breeding, living creatures, and they're male, they're female, they're children, they live, they die, they're grandparents, and they have the whole, social structure to survive. How's that? Is that all right?
Maybe a little more.
A little more?
Like real saturated.
Well, I don't want it too short at the back. I like it down, over the collar, because of the sun. I don't wear any sunscreen because that stuff stings me in the eyes. It's horrible stuff. So anyway, I ran down the logs, and round the corner I found this huge mountain meadow laid out in flowers, and there was a trail that had just been cut all the way through it, as if 2 large or 3 large primates, not bears, not deer, had run through there. It was fresh, fresh, fresh. I was jumping up and down.
Did you get footage of it?
No, we didn't get footage of anything. We're too noisy.
I've been discouraged a lot in my life, especially by my mom, and it doesn't feel good. When you're excited about something and passionate about something and somebody says something to put doubt in your head, it's just that never feels good. So I like being supportive of him. He's a good person. He's been there for me in places when I've just sort of needed someone, something, some company, some companionship, some diversion, distraction. And that's played a necessary role in my life. I don't think romantically we're connected in the way that I entertained at one point, but I certainly will always consider him a really, really close friend and a good person. I think one of the things that I respect most about John is that he is just tireless in his pursuit of what he feels is out there, and what he feels will bring him happiness, victory, joy, something, some sense of accomplishment, and he won't give up on it. And it doesn't seem to matter if he gets tangible evidence. It doesn't seem to matter if other people believe him. He just never gives up. And there's so many people that give up on small things all the time, and he's basically devoted his life to this. And he doesn't get a lot of positive feedback and encouragement that he's going to find what he wants to find. And the fact that he continues down that path tirelessly and tenaciously and with a purpose, I have to respect that, especially in a man.
All the criticism I've had for all the years I've been doing this, and the people poking fun at me and walking across to the other side of the street when they see me coming because I'm nuts. I know it's there. I'm going to find it. I'll be smiling inward about it. I will. I really will have a smile on the inside, looking out at them all.
Just explain, Ben, what are we doing here?
In her hand is a very small, thin strip of aluminum with essentially a chip on it. And it's a tracer. It, in turn, is tracked by the tracker. Now, when we really go live with this thing, there's going to be bait that the tracer will be placed in. Right now, we just place it in the container to see whether or not the tracker will still be able to pick up the signal from the tracer.
Now, if the primate was running, because she's just walking, if the primate was running, it would track while the primate's running, right?
I love the contrast of her blonde hair with the green of the trees.
You better tell her it's working. Encourage her. Say something. Say something nice.
It's working great, babe.
There you go.
We'll probably be out here about, week and a half, 2 weeks maybe. We didn't bring that many supplies, but we've got enough to hold out for a while.
What you doing, Ben?
I'm gonna place the bait. Just like that.
And there's a little bit of gas. But, oh, there it goes. Look at that. How about some hot oatmeal?
All right.
Well, this is almost ready. It's a mess, Ben. We need to make some decisions about what we're going to do. I got water in my tent, look, and most of it actually was absorbed by the bed bag, which is drying out there. And of course I was soaked. I woke up wet. And my feet are wet.
Science is not utterly contemptuous of the Bigfoot question. If you look at the living fauna, if you look at the biogeography, the ecology, the evolutionary picture in the fossil record, all these things point to the, if not the likelihood, at least the plausibility of such an animal. Population biologists have often said if there is a reproducing population in the Northwest, it's probably somewhere between 500 5,000 animals between Northern California and Alaska. That seems plausible to me. So, I mean, it's a kind of animal like any other.
Hey, John. John.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something's going on with one of the tracers.
Yeah. Was it moving? What's...
I'm not sure. Hold on.
Stop and listen.
Do you see it, Ben, on the tracer?
This thing's a quarter mile up the hill now.
It keeps zigzagging.
Yeah. What do you think?
What's that?
It stopped. I can't hear anything now. All right, are we getting any closer? Has he stopped?
I think it's hard to say, John.
Huh. Is the distance? Are we gaining on him?
Somewhere up in there, right on the top of that ridge. Our only hope is to try to go around the girth of the side of the mountain here and possibly head it off.
How far is it?
Well, it's moving north, and unfortunately we're going south right now because we've got to traverse our way back up across this ridge line. Not many, it's pretty sparse. It's been so dry.
What are you looking for?
Blueberries.
I'm not going to go down, Ben. I'm not going down. I'm not that thirsty.
I'm getting dehydrated though, John.
Well, you can't do anything about it. Going down there is 2 hours. How accurate do you think that thing is?
I think it's accurate.
Can you pinpoint it more?
Well, this thing shows the direction he's moving. So it could be over here, but it's still way up high. It's over half a mile away.
Where does it say it is, Ben?
It's pointing up there.
It's about 200 yards from this spot, facing due south.
I don't see anything.
Well, I'm going to get up. I'm getting closer.
When we came up here, we've come back around and traversed the side of this mountain. It went straight up the side.
Yeah.
So it came this whole ridge line, all along here. Is what I speculate. All along there.
Yeah, it looks like two footprints like that.
Almost does.
Huh? There's flies everywhere. Look at them.
Look at this.
What? That thing took a shit up here. That bloody tracer's inside that pile of shit.
How fresh do you think the shit is? It's very fresh, within the last hour or so.
Less than an hour. There's a fuck. Look at this, Ben. You got it.
It's not going to do any good.
Well, I didn't come all the way.
No.
I didn't come all this way. We didn't come all this way. Just walk away from this. Maybe they could run a DNA. We've got something at least.
I'm worried about him. He's dehydrated. We got to get to that water. Okay, come on. One foot in front of the other. You go in front of me.
How you been? I haven't seen you in a while. It's pipes. It's some kind of a scat. I'm a little. That odor is nitrogenous waste. Generally, herbivores don't have that nitrogenous smell to it. Being deer, elk, something of that nature. So you're thinking the tracer was consumed and excreted.
That's right.
In the scat.
Yeah, I took the actual tracer out of the scat.
Now let me back you up just a little bit. It was in a container that
initially
it required an opposable thumb. That doesn't mean something couldn't have broken the container.
True.
Black bear can tear into anything. There were a couple of things that confused me about it. Number one, the smell of it, the shape, and the overall texture to it. It just wasn't like anything I'd seen before, I don't believe.
Are you, how much of an expert would you consider yourself in that area?
Well, there's this guy don't know shit. I've got a friend up in Fairbanks. His name is Ted Swim, Dr. Theodore Swim. He's with endangered species with the Fish and Wildlife Service.
Well, like I said before, he circled around the bear topic, but
it's just a hypothesis.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate, as a scientist, you want to have some kind of speculation.
He wasn't certain 100%.
No.
And he's sending it to his friend up north who's going to do a real analysis on it. I want to go through there. This is ridiculous. I don't need the entourage. Ben and his group of friends, and I can, quite frankly, I can do without you, because I don't need publicity. I'll go out and find it, and
I'm not doing publicity. I'm just covering your story.
I know you're covering my story, but sometimes it's just annoying. I mean, look at us standing here in this bog.
Wouldn't you be standing here if I wasn't?
Probably not. No, probably not. I would have gone the other way. I would have seen.
Why would you have gone the other way if I wasn't here?
Well, because look, the water here. Now we're standing here. I would have gone that way.
What does me being here have anything to do with the route you would go? Makes no sense.
Well, because I thought this trail was open, and you wanted to come down here with me, and I said I wanted to go and look at this other site over here.
I think between you and I, the thing that I would like to just say about my dad is that I miss him. There are times when I am doing something in the best mood, listening to music, and then all of a sudden, like, the wind will blow, or I'll catch a scent in the air that will remind me of him, and somebody will walk in and it will startle me, and I'll be crying, and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong?" And the answer to that is nothing. Like, nothing is wrong. It's just part of everyday life without him. The pain definitely never goes away. It just catches you when you least expect it.
John! John! Shit.
What? You? Stone. It was raining, I got wet. I took pictures.
What pictures?
I took pictures of the primate. 2 pictures, 2 of them.
Have you actually looked at them on the camera? Like, you know what you shot?
No, the camera's not working anymore.
Then how do you know you have anything?
Well, I got out there at night in my tent up in the mountains when the primates came.
Hey, John, if I set up everything, can I do an interview? Like, will you do it?
Well, you're talking to me now. Isn't this an interview? Huh?
No. Let me set everything up. Come on.
I saw two primates. I was in my tent in the Middle Fork. I've been there about a week. I heard them coming into the campsite.
Is this a true story?
I have
Or
pictures.
Are you making it up?
No, I have the pictures here. Sarah has a charger at her house. I plug it in.
So why haven't you gone there? I mean, you think
Well-
that'd be the first thing you do.
Well, You
I
see,
want to tell you something. I've been following you a long time, and I think you just are making it. It's just bullshit.
I'm not making it up.
The guys that catch Bigfoot gold fever become lost to it. They can be lost to what we consider a day-to-day reality, to the extent that it's not good for them and not good for those around them who love them.
It's kind of temperamental. I mean, I've had that camera for years and years. It's been out in the wilderness with me. You see, when I took pictures of the primates with the flash...
John, where are the pictures?
Sarah's looking
That's
for
the whole
them.
point.
They're in there.
All right. It still says lens cover error.
Well, you have to push... Look, let me...
John, what does the lens cover error have to do with
I don't
looking
know.
at photos?
I'm not technical, but this, when you hold it up, somehow you push the lens cap.
You just got the lens cap off.
No, but you have to push it up. Even though it's hidden, if you push it further into its recess, you can figure it out. I'm gonna keep eating.
It doesn't seem to have any stored pictures. It lets me take pictures, but it doesn't seem to have any stored pictures. That's really disappointing. Disappointment's so hard. I hate
It's like
disappointment.
years of disappointment. I mean, it's like I don't know if I can do it again. I just don't know if I have it in me.
He was more desperate. He seemed more desperate than he has in the past. And I don't know if that's because he's getting tired, because he's getting older, because he's losing faith or hope himself. I think there's a lot of him that maybe feels like he's a failure in some ways.
I sometimes feel guilty that maybe if she married somebody else, she'd still be alive, you know. I've been having these recurring dreams that I'll wake up. She says, "Don't worry, everything's gonna be all right. You'll go on without me. You're strong. You'll bounce back. You are who you are. Don't ever change that." And she's lying in the bed there. She can hardly get up. You wouldn't even know who she was. You just wouldn't. You'd think she was a stranger. The only thing you could recognize, if you knew her well enough, was her smile and her cheerful attitude. That, even in death, that's never... They can't take that away from her. It's a terrible situation. And I don't have the control. I don't have any control over it. I feel to myself, did I do enough? Did I try hard enough to help? Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go behind I'm gonna go around the back of this building because I want to take a piss.
You said you were going to see your kids again, maybe?
Yeah, I do want to see my children. You know what, I really do. I mean, it's been a long time. You know, I didn't do the right thing, and hopefully after these years gone, that, you know, we can perhaps reunite a little bit. Because right now, it doesn't look good. It doesn't feel good. I mean, I don't feel good. It's just not there for me anymore.
Why did it take so long? Did they say anything?
Well, Dr. Swim, I don't know. I think, he's a very busy guy. And, to get this sample, I'm not sure how seriously he might have taken Jeff. But anyway, he finally did get around to it. And even though we've been discouraged, we've heard nothing. But you know what? We have heard something now.
And Ben came over and he said that they'd found something very interesting, that they were all excited about it.
You guys know, this is Dr. Ted Swim in Fairbanks. We're at Endangered Species Office. Service in Fairbanks, Alaska.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you, John.
John, nice meeting you as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for including me into this project, because I think there's some exciting discoveries that...
Hey, Jeff, sorry to interrupt. Do you think you could put the dogs?
I know I can. Come on, girls. Bonnie, Kettle.
Thank you.
Sure.
Science has come down to a point where it's more economical to do a lot of long-term deep dive testing on DNA and RNA and chromosome pairings and those sorts of things. And even, sort of the commercial stuff that's on the market as humans, we can figure out where we came from, right? So I think the testing component was to try to figure out, where this sample came from. The RNA, which is, in humans, it's similar. That's the messenger component of, the science aspect of what chromosomes and DNA is all about. But this one was rather unusual.
RNA stands for ribonucleic acid, RNA. And it's a component of genetic material, and it's associated with the DNA.
What is it about this RNA that is unusual, I guess?
That's like saying, what's unique about an Irishman or a Norwegian?
Okay.
It's a detailed chemical explanation.
So you're just saying this, that you've never seen this before?
That is correct.
Not in our combined years of research, no.
Yes.
They're not willing to actually say out loud that this could be the primate. They're not willing. And I understand why, because in your community, you can be ridiculed.
All we've got to this point is that it was human feces, a hominid feces.
There is no human could have made that. It was a pile about this big.
It was unique in its transfer RNA, and unlike anything that we've identified to this point. That does not allow me to make the step that there's a Sasquatch.
Well, I think the other part too is you take a look at some indigenous tribes, like in Brazil and other parts of the world that have basically remained undiscovered for all intents and purposes.
Sorry, guys. You talk about this so matter of fact. Are you saying that there could be some sort of undiscovered tribe that there would be in South America living in the North Cascades? I mean, that's what I hear you saying.
Well, no, we're not saying that. We're saying a couple of things. One, that we know that there's undiscovered tribes down in Brazil because most recently they've been discovered. I think what Jeff's talking about is that there's a possibility there's an indigenous tribe here that we haven't discovered.
I think we're getting confused a little bit using the word tribe, or it's a small group. It's apparently a small inbred group that has some unusual alleles in their DNA that have made them distinctly different from other groups that we know of in the area.
I don't know what you guys thought in there, but I found what they said in there to be highly confusing.
Well, it is very confusing.
Because when I interviewed him, he told me he thought there was a greater probability of some subculture of humans that had never been identified, almost tribal, living in the Cascades.
Well, I mean, that's another hypothesis.
I've seen these creatures. They're not human. They're not human. So he can go round and round and round, but they're not human.
I believe there's a difference between belief and acceptance, as Grover Krantz, the great Bigfoot scientist, did. He felt that belief equated with faith. Acceptance based on evidence is something else. As a scientist, I prefer the latter. Because of the tracks and the sounds I've had, for which I don't have a better hypothesis, I have upped my degree of acceptance from about 50-50 when I really started looking into it to probably about 75 or 80% now. In other words, I am inclined toward the position that it is likely that Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Sahelanthropus, walks as a flesh and blood animal. But I'm not willing to say that I'm certain about it.
He's been battling a lot of demons for a long time, and we kind of all see that. But he's a great friend of mine, and I want to be there for him. To have him come in here and bunk here sometimes and get clean and get something to eat, I think it's a good thing. He's a good, kind soul.
What do you mean I'm fired? Boss, you gotta give me a break. Yeah, I know it's the big I'm sleeping, but I'm only maybe 2 hours late. Man, I'm very real tired. The clock must have broke. I only hit the snooze one time. I was resting my eyes, the next thing I knew, the clock said 9:30. So, it's not my fault, not my fault. I'm a victim of circumstance. Not my fault, not my fault. Well, you gotta give me one more chance. You're gonna keep my tongue like a hell. What do you mean? I'm under arrest. I only had a couple of beers. I stopped at the poorhouse to pick me up some food.
To see him again was a chance to hug him again, to touch him again, and tell him how much I loved him and how much I missed him. We can give him the space to be whomever it is that he wants to be, so long as he's happy.
And I'd also like to recognize somebody that's here. It's an old friend of mine I've known for many years. He rarely comes in from out of the woods, but he's here tonight, and we're happy to have him. And we'd like to dedicate this next song to him. John Green, I give you Mother Nature's Troubled Child.
They call you Mother Nature's troubled child. No one knows why you chose to run wild. You're the ancient creature that time left behind, the fugitive survivor of your kind. They fear you, but they won't leave you alone.
You never can be found, address unknown. Some deny that you exist, others will insist that your angry cry can turn a man to stone. You move with ease beneath the trees that spear northwestern skies. You're a legend now, so you can never die. Forever is a long, long time to hide. They don't want you, so they hunt you, there is no rest. Each night you take flight by demons pressed. You're the phantom of the dark, striking fear in human hearts. The evil deeds of men are soon confessed when your footsteps quake the mountains of the west. You move with ease beneath the trees that spear northwestern skies. You're a legend now, so you can never die. Forever is a long, long time to hide. Alone but running free, with feet size 23. You're the child who broke Mother Nature's